Hey everybody, James here with Nick Case Designs. Today I thought I would break away a little bit from making soap and show you how I make lip balm. I'm trying out a new recipe today. Historically I've made this using beeswax and just trying to see what it's like to not use beeswax. I was reading a little bit more about lip balm making and I found that cocoa butter is often a good substitute. I'm also using lanolin, which, you know, I put in almost all of my products. And since lanolin is technically a wax, I think it'll provide the same sort of firmness that we're looking for in a lip balm, while also giving you those same like lanolin kind of silky properties. In my container here, you can see a couple different things. I've got my lanolin there at the bottom. It's that deep waxy yellow. Then I've got over here, you might be able to see this, I've got a brick of cocoa butter. I recently bought a 3-pound bag and it was pretty cheap, so good stuff. And then on top here I've got some shea butter. So I'm working in roughly equal parts. So I have 3 ounces of lanolin, 3 ounces of cocoa butter, 3 ounces of shea butter, and then I actually have an ounce of liquid sweet almond oil. Well, it's always a liquid, but I'm just telling you because it's my only liquid oil in there. So sweet almond oil in the bottom. And then here I've got this handy dandy lip balm tray. So this is called a spill tray. You can get these on Amazon. I'll put a link down below in the description to this one. I have another one that I've used in the past. It's blue. They are slightly different, surprisingly. So this one, I went to go buy new tubes for it, and I looked them up by the amount that they hold, and they ended up being too small to fit snugly into these holes, because that's something you really want if you're going to use a spill tray. Make sure the tubes that you get fit snugly into these holes, otherwise you're going to have leaks all down the bottom, and that is not what you want. So what happened was, I bought the tubes, they were too small. Then I found different tubes that were the same weight, but they were different brands. So I was like, well, I'll try those, and I got them, and they were too big. So, right? So I ended up just buying a whole new setup, and it comes with 50 tubes. And this one's nice because it actually had like a separate link below for replacement tubes. Of course, I'm just going to be a little more thorough in my measurements, and I guarantee that there are places you can buy these from that actually specialize in selling bulk packaging. I was just getting them off Amazon because again, like you guys know, I work in such small batches that this is a lot for me. But another important thing to note, as long as they fit snugly, that's what you want, the main thing, right? We don't want leaks. But secondly, make sure that all of your tubes are dialed to their lowest possible position, because you want to make sure that you're not underfilling your lip balms. I pre-did this. I did this all together the other night, but I'm just going to go through and check them all, make sure they're all in their lowest position. Because once you pour them and they harden, you could, reheat them and re-pour, but why would you want to? Another cool thing that comes with this that I have put away is there's a scraper tool. Where did I put you? I'll have to find it, but it's pretty neat. But basically, once you pour your lip balms and they harden, you take the scraper and it's got a flat side, and you just scrape off the excess, and you can add it back into your container, and you can remelt it, make more, you can save it, whatever. So I'm going to melt this slowly in the microwave on like 30-45 second bursts, and then I will rejoin you as soon as it's melted. Okay? Okay, we are back, and as you can see, my oils and butters are nicely melted. Right now they are about 118 degrees Fahrenheit, I try not to let lanolin or shea butter get above 120 degrees because they might burn. They're pretty sensitive. You'll know if they burn. They will smell horrible. So far I've not burned any, but I know what they smell like burned. What I'm going to do now is a trick that I've seen a lot of people do. It's where you put a spoon in the freezer while you're working on your stuff, and then when you dip it in, it'll freeze and harden the butter oil mixture, and you can test it, and then you can add additional whatever you want, if it's too waxy, if it's too oily, just to kind of tweak it. That way you don't waste anything. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So it's hardening. Not quite there yet. I might not have left my spoon in long enough. That's me. So on cursory, you can sort of feel it's very silky, very smooth, but really soft. Like it doesn't really have like a stiff waxiness to it. So I think that this would be a great sort of lip balm for, a light feeling. But I don't know if I love it. What could I add to make this a little bit heavier? I could add some wax still. That is not off the table. Let's see, you guys can probably see. So this has like a really kind of soft texture. Like it certainly holds a shape, It's a nice, I would say almost like a, what's the word? Like a lip gloss? And it feels nice. I think I am going to add some wax. So I'm going to add some wax and we'll be back in a little bit. We'll tell you how it feels. Hey everybody, we're back. I went ahead and I added my white beeswax. I added 1 ounce to our 10 ounces of oils and butters. And then I went ahead and I just pulled my spoon back out of the freezer, and you can see that it's a much waxier consistency now. And it really cuts that oiliness and makes it much more of a smooth balm-like consistency. So I'm satisfied with this, and it just looks so pretty. Pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill my spill tray. You want to try and do this at a little lower of a temperature than I'm doing it. I'm pouring at about 140, but if you can do it any under that, that's totally fine. I just really want to finish this up, to be completely honest. I wasn't expecting to have to do the wax and you know how projects go. But basically what you're going to do is, the nice thing about the spill tray is you don't have to worry as much about filling individually. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this long way. And then just kind of pour slow, steady. Certainly concentrate your pour on the containers. But that's the nice thing about this, is that if it happens to spill over, just goes into the next one. So, see, I've run out, but I've still got a couple left. So I'm just going to kind of jiggle this over and even them all out. Give it a little bit of a shake. I'm just going to lift it up ever so slightly. Make sure nothing's leaking, which it's not, so that's excellent. And now we're just going to wait for this to cool down and then shave the rest off. And then we'll talk about that when we get to it. So, I'll check back with you when this is dry. Hey everybody, we're back to finish our lip balms. These have solidified on the top. You see I kind of smudged my finger through there. They're still pretty soft, but they're going to be kind of soft because I used like 90% soft things. The butters that we used were solid at room temperature, and they'll, continue to maintain that property, but they're going to be pretty soft. But that's okay. So what I'm taking here is just this tool. So it's kind of sloped down and then flat on one side, and you just rake it across the top and smooth them out. So we're just going to go for it. I might do this in 2 little installments there. And I'm just putting them back, like it's going back over here in our container. Let me go over here. And I'm going to let these sit overnight before I take them out, just because I want to give them extra time to be happy in their new home. So I think I'm going to start calling these, I'm going to call these Butter Balm. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I've already put that up. But since this recipe used way more than 50% of just different butters, I think it's appropriate. Apologize if you hear my dishwasher in the background. I've been slacking on my house chores, so I gotta get some things washed. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and clean it up with a paper towel. Gonna run. Just don't want to have any sitting over the edges. So these will continue to dry and harden a little bit, and then I'll throw up a little clip of me taking them out tomorrow. But I did want to show you. So most of these look really good. You can see that they're nice and full all the way down evenly. And that there's nothing leaking through the bottom, so that's good. That's what you want. But then if you look, like for example over here on this side, there are a couple, like this one here, where you can see that little bit has dribbled down, and like it's not bad. It's not leaking out of the container, and it won't leak out of the container. It just means it's just like a little more of an aesthetic thing. Similarly, like this one, those spots were actually on this container before I got it. I'm just gonna keep that one for myself. Like it's not dirt or anything. It was just on the container, and I don't feel comfortable selling that. So most of them, all the rest of them were fine though. So yeah, so that is definitely it for the Butter Balm. I'm going to put this video up tonight. If you have any questions, please let me know. Like, subscribe if you enjoy the content. We're going to be back making more soap soon as well. I had to reorder my avocado oil, so I'm waiting for that to come in. Bulk Apothecary is where I get a lot of my bulk oils, and they have excellent customer service. They're really fast. They sell them for great prices, so if you ever get into soap making and you want to find a nice bulk source, I would suggest them for things like avocado oil. There are some oils that I buy more locally that I can just get for a better price, like olive oil. I get it at Walmart, honestly. They sell a really big container for a really good price, and I don't have to ship it anywhere. I can just buy it. And I like olive oil especially because olive oil with the different grades has different colors to it. And I like to be able to kind of pick the lightest of them because I don't like my soaps to be too yellow or green, because that'll influence like the way in which I can get them as white as I can. So if you start off with a light colored soap, you can color it really easily. But if you are using like an extra virgin olive oil that's super dark, it limits your ability to color things brightly. And you're going to spend a lot of your time using titanium dioxide or kaolin clay to just lighten the soap before you can even color it. So you're really left with a lot of pastel options. But that goes for a lot of things. I do put lanolin in my soaps, which is a really like a deep yellow, almost like a butter yellow. And so it does influence my soap color a little bit. It used to be my soap before I put lanolin in, it was much whiter. But, you know, you grow. You do things. Anywho, again, love this video, hate this video, let me know. Like, subscribe if you enjoy the content. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll show you a little bit of the unmolding process for these, as well as something new. So, thank you very much. Have a good night.